Welcome to the setup video for Scenario 6, where doom awaits. Unfortunately, your setup instructions are on the same page as your do not read instructions, so make sure you cover those up. We're using a copy of Raiders of the Lost Ark, but any film from the 1980s will do. As usual, the first thing you want to do is gather your encounter sets, and this scenario uses a whopping 7 encounter sets. Just to be different, we're going to go from left to right this time, starting with the Where Doom Awaits set, which is the one contained in this Mythos pack. Then we move on to Chaos Earwig, or as it should be known, Beast Thralls, which is 2 Lupine Thralls, 2 Avian Thralls, and 2 Altered Beasts. 6 cards in the Sorcery set, 3 copies of Beyond the Veil, and 3 copies of Visions of Futures Past. Next you have the 6-card Bishop's Thrall set. This is 2 copies of Light of a Forgamon, 3 Thralls, and 1 Wizard of Yog-Sothoth. Remember, you can always tell how many cards are in a particular set by the tiny numbers at the bottom. And the 7 cards from the Striking Fear set, there are 3 Rotting Remains, 2 Frozen in Fear, and 2 Dissonant Voices. The Ancient Evil set, which is 3 copies of Ancient Evils. The Chilling Cold set, which is 2 copies of Obscuring Fog and 2 copies of Crypt Chill. Once you've got hold of these 7 encounter sets, don't put the rest away yet, as you may need an additional 8th one, and we'll come to that towards the end of the video. There are 11 locations in this scenario pack. Take the 3 different ones with a picture of a hill on them and put them into play. And each of your investigators are going to begin play at the base of the hill. That leaves you with 4 identical looking copies of Divergent Path and 4 identical looking copies of Altered Path. And the artwork for both of these is the same, so make sure you check the header at the top of the card. Then you're going to take 1 copy at random of Diverging Path and then 1 copy at random of Altered Path, and remove them from the game, so pop them back in the box so they don't get mixed up. And then the remaining 3 of each, you're going to set those aside out of play, hopefully to see them later, as long as you don't die in the first 5 minutes. The other card you'll need to set aside out of play is the unique Seth Bishop, which is card number 20. It's now time to add another token to the Chaos bag. So check your current difficulty and fish out either a -3, -5, -6 or -7. Yes, there's definitely a -6, not a -9. In play, you're going to have 2 agenda cards and 3 act cards. But when assembling your act deck, you must select 1 copy of the multiple copies of Act 2A. So what you're going to do is consult your campaign log and work your way down the little list here, and then choose which one of the act cards applies to you. If you recorded that you restored Silas Bishop, you're going to use this one here, version 1 of Act 2. If that isn't the case, remove that card from the game. Then check if you've written down that you failed to recover the Necronomicon, or you've written down that the Necronomicon was stolen. If so, you're going to use Ascending the Hill version 2, this one here. If you haven't written either of those conditions down, then you're going to go straight on to Ascending the Hill version number 3. And remove the other 2 from the game. The next thing to check in your campaign log is how many Brood of Yog-Sothoth escaped into the wild. For each one that did, you're going to add 1 doom to agenda 1A. We hope that you're doing better than we are. Remember we mentioned an 8th encounter set? Well, the last step is to check your encounter log once again, and if you put Silas Bishop out of his misery, then you're going to need the 3 cards of the Hideous Abomination set. That's the one with this symbol here. And if so, you're going to put 1 copy of the Conglomeration of Spheres into play at the Ascending Path location, and you're going to shuffle the other 2 cards, that's the other Conglomeration of Spheres and the Servant of the Lurker, into your encounter deck, because no good deed goes unpunished. If all goes well, your setup might look a little something like this. At random, you've removed 1 copy of Diverging Path and 1 copy of Altered Path from the game, and you've set aside the remaining 3 of each, along with setting aside Seth Bishop. 3 locations begin in play, and your investigators start at the base of the hill. And your campaign log may say a Conglomeration of Spheres starts in play at the Ascending Path. You've chosen one of the 3 copies of Act 2, depending on what your campaign log says. And there may also be some doom starting on the first agenda card. Today's video was brought to you by Mad Old Steve. Lita, you can't go round calling people names. Look, that's what wrote on his bloody form, so that's what I'm going to bloody call him. Woo! Whoa, easy there.